Hey guys, I want to work a problem that's similar to the one that you just looked at, so that we can take some strategies from working this problem and apply them to the one that you just did. So what I have here is we've got the same sentence stem or problem stem that you had on the example problem. We still are looking at a table, and we still need to choose the correct equation that matches this table. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, if I'm highlighting some important words, I know here that I'm looking at a table. Okay, I also know, whoops, dismiss. Well, now I feel like I just messed this up. Here we go. Okay. Technical difficulties. The table represents some points on the graph of a linear function. Okay, what function represents the same relationship? So I'm looking that what's in this table is going to match what would be in this equation. So if I'm looking at the graph of a linear function, I know that I can look at some of these key features. Ones that we've already talked about, one of them is slope. So I can find slope from this table and see if it matches to the slope in these equations. Now remember, slope is rise over run. So if I'm looking at rise over run in this table, rise is my y values. That rhymes. Rise is y. If I'm looking at how y is changing, and then look at how it's changing over x, that's my run, I can use my calculator to help me do this. I can say, okay, how did it change going from 5, or from 23 to 5? I can do 5 minus 23, and I get negative 18. Then I can say if I did 5 minus 23, I can look at this. I can say negative 2 minus negative 8. And I get 6. If I do rise over run, I can do alpha y equals, I can do a fraction, and my rise, that was this negative 18. So I have negative 18 as my rise, and my run was 6. So I can see here, guys, that my slope is negative 3. Right off the bat, I should be able to cross off 2 of these answers, okay? Now, how do I know where my negative 3 is? I see negative 3 here. Why is that my slope? Well, all of these equations, all of them are written in point slope form, and you can see this on your reference material. Point slope form is y, not equals. Mrs. Reams is having trouble today. It's y minus my y1 equals my slope, which is m, times my x minus x1. Each of these equations is written in this form. I've got a y, and then I've got a minus 23. A y plus 8 is the same thing as minus negative 8. I see that in all of these equations. I see a number here outside my parentheses. Those are my slope. And then I have an x plus or minus something. So in point slope form, my m is this number right in front of my parentheses. Now there are 2 of these problems that don't have the correct slope in it. And so I can cross off A and I can cross off B. The slope is not correct. So then, guys, I'm left with 2 equations. How do I know which one is the correct one? Well, what I can do is I can use a strategy where I pick one of these points, x and y, and I plug it into the equation to see if it makes it true. I'm going to do some erasing here so that we can see these equations nice and pretty. Let's pick one of these points. I'm going to pick the first one just because it's the first one there. Now what that means is that when I see this y value, I'm going to plug in this 23. When I see this x, I'm going to plug in this negative 8, and let's see if we get the right answer. Let's start on the left side of answer choice C. I'm going to clear so we can start from the beginning. Y, we're going to say, is 23. 23 plus 8. I'm just doing what the equation tells me to. I get 31. Let's see if that's equal to what I have here on this other side. Negative 3. Again, I'm just getting this from my equation. I have my parentheses. Instead of x, I'm going to use my negative 8. Negative 8, following the equation, minus 23. Okay, let's see what this equals. 93. Are these two sides equal when I plug in this point? No. So that means that the equation in C is not the same relationship as the table that they gave me. Let's try D. Y. I'm starting with this Y. I'm using 23. So 23 minus, hey, minus 23. That's easy. What does that equal? It equals 0. If this is true, I should get that my left side, or sorry, my right side also equals 0 when I plug this in. -3, parentheses, I'm following the steps. This time my x is still -8, -8, but I'm going to do plus 8. That's what this equation tells me. -8 plus 8, that gives me 0 again, doesn't it? And 0 times -3 is 0. 0 equals 0, and that is awesome. That is a true statement. So that helps me know that D is the same relationship as the relationship given in the table. Following this process where we found the slope, crossed off the answers that didn't match the slope, and then plugging in a value allowed me to find the correct answer for a problem like this one.